It is a beautiful morning. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Carnival Breakfast Show coming to you from Carnival Radio. And this is Newspaper Review. I am Joseph Horikola. This morning I came with different newspapers. I have Punch with me, I have Vanguard newspaper, I have Daily Post, and I have The Nation newspaper. But to begin the news this morning, we'll first read the headlines. As to reject federal government proposal, begins 2-week strike today. Women raised to accept shame without protest, says Natasha. Another dismissed officer impersonates DSS. Agency warns Nigerians. Spread of drug-resistant bacterial infections rising. WHO warns. 2027. Peter Obi's fate in ADC. Labour Party hangs in the balance. My name is Joseph Oyukola, and here is the news in details. The Academic Staff Union of Universities will on Monday today commence a 2-week warning strike after the ultimatum issued to the federal government elapsed on Sunday. The announcement was made by the National President of the Union, Professor Chris Puwana, at a press briefing at the University of Abuja on Sunday. The renewed standoff between ASU and the government comes amid ongoing negotiations aimed at averting another round of industrial unrest in public universities. Last Wednesday, the Minister of Education, Dr. Tunji Lausa, disclosed in Abuja that the government had entered the final phase of talks with ASU and other unions to resolve lingering disputes over welfare, funding, and the implementation of the 2009 ASU federal government agreement. Lausa noted that Tinubu administration had already made significant progress with the release of 50 billion naira for the payment of earned academic allowances, while another 150 billion naira had been captured for the 2025 budget for needs assessment to be disbursed in 3 tranches. But declaring the strike, Puwana stated that, compatriot of the press, it goes without saying that there is nothing sufficient on the ground to solve the implementation of the ASU next resolution to embark on a 2-week warning strike at the expiry of the 14-day notice given on the 28th September 2025. Newsmen learned that the federal government had extended an invitation to the union last Friday in a bid to meet the deadline set by ASU leadership. For more details, please visit the Punch newspaper. ASU reject federal government proposal, begins 2-week strike today. Reading from the Vanguard newspaper is where Senator Natasha Poti-Uduaghan has decried the cultural conditioning that teaches young women to endure shame and silence rather than confront injustice or assert their worth. Speaking in Abuja at a mentorship and interactive section held to commemorate the 2025 International Day of the Gay Child on Sunday, the Kogi Central lawmaker said society must unlearn norms that encourage women to self-blame and suppress their voices. He says lamenting the deep-rooted expectation that they limit women's aspirations. The senator added that women have been raised to take the shame, wear the blame, and keep their mouths shut. The event tagged an evening with Senator Natasha and teamed after a global campaign. Poti-Uduaghan said her mission goes beyond politics, noting that she would not feel fulfilled until her work leads to tangible transformation in communities that have long been deprived of opportunities. Among the guest speakers was anti-human trafficking advocate Yakubu Oyiza Hope, who shared her journey through abduction, banditry, and violence before rising to become a voice for victims. This news was sourced from the Vanguard newspaper. For more details, please visit the Vanguard newspaper. Women raised to self-shame without protest, says Natasha. At the meantime, the Department of State Services has issued another public warning about the dismissed officer allegedly impersonating the agency to defraud unsuspecting Nigerians. In a post shared on its official X handle on Sunday, the secret police identified the suspect as Victor Oyedikachi Godwin. The dismissed staff said to be engaging in unscrupulous activities using the name of the service. The DSS urged members of the public to desist from any dealings with him, adding that all official inquiries or complaints should be directed to its verified communication channels. The new disclaimer comes barely 4 days after the agency released a similar statement warning Nigerians against one Barry Donald, another dismissed officer accused of impersonating the service for fraudulent purposes. DSS, founded in 1986, is Nigeria's domestic intelligence agency responsible for internal security and counterintelligence operations. This news was sourced from the Nation newspaper. Another dismissed officer impersonates DSS. Agency warns Nigerians. In another development, the World Health Organization sounded the alarm on Monday over soaring numbers of drug-resistant bacterial infections, compromising the effectiveness of life-saving treatment and rendering minor injuries and common infections potentially deadly. The United Nations Health Agency warned that when a 6 laboratory confirmed bacterial infections worldwide in 2023 showed resistance to antibiotic treatment. Bacteria have long developed resistance against medicines designed to fight them, rendering many drugs useless. This has been accelerated by the massive use of antibiotics to treat humans, animals, and food. Antimicrobial resistance (AMRs) so bugs directly cause over 1 million deaths and contribute to nearly 5 million deaths every year, according to WHO. In a report on AMR surveillance, the WHO examined resistance prevalence estimate across 22 antibiotics used to treat infections of the urinary and gastrointestinal tract, the bloodstream, and those used to treat gonorrhea. In the 5 years leading up to 2023, antibiotic resistance increased in over 40% of the monitored antibiotics, with an average annual rise of between 5 and 15%, the reports found. The news was sourced from the Punch newspaper. Spread of drug-resistant bacterial infections rising, says WHO. On to the last news on the newspaper review this morning. I read from the Daily Post newspaper. Former Anambra State Governor Peter Obi's 2027 presidential ambition is being stranded in uncertainty as confusion continues to trail what platform he will contest the election. Newsman reports that Obi, who contested for the nation's top job 2023 via the Labour Party, is a key member of the coalition of opposition figures plotting to unseat President Bola Ahmed Tinubu in the next election. On July 2, 2025, the opposition leaders comprising Obi, former Vice President Atiku Abubakar, former Senate President David Mark, and former Kaduna River State Governors Nasir El-Rufai and Rotimi Amechi adopted the African Democratic Congress (ADC) as platform to contest the 2027 polls. However, Obi's hope of securing the ADC ticket is glaringly becoming a mirage, as party bigwigs seem to be zeroing in on Atiku. A source within the party told newsmen that there will be no consensus candidate, stating that, like other political parties, ADC will conduct a primary election to determine its flag bearer. However, it was gathered from Obi's camp that the former presidential candidate is not ready to meet Atiku in the primary election. This news was sourced from the Daily Post newspaper. For more details, please visit Daily Post newspaper 2027. Peter Obi's fate in ADC, Labour Party hangs in the balance. To bring the newspaper review to a close this morning, here is a recap of headlines. As the reject federal government proposal begins 2-week strike today. Women raised to accept shame without protest, says Natasha. Another dismissed officer impersonate DSS. Agency warns Nigerians. Spread of drug-resistant bacterial infections rising. WHO warns. 2027. Peter Obi's fate in ADC, Labour Party hangs in the balance. And with that, we've come to the end of newspaper review. Thank you very much for listening. You can download Carnival Media app from Google Play Store and Apple iOS. You can also check out our website at www.carnivalmedia.ng. Today is Monday, and please do ensure you lay your hands on something profitable, something that you know very well that will add more value to you. And be my home self, Oyo Joseph Angel. Please do well to enjoy the rest of your day.